I don't understand it, but hey, listen, I don't have the answers. I just have questions. That's how it's always been. I've always had questions. I've always been a curious kid. Like ever since I was little, I used to be. Because like contrary to popular belief, I grew up with both my parents. So, but I would meet kids at school who didn't know their father, and that was always confusing to me. Like, how do you not know your father? Because you need a mother and a father to make you. How do you not know the father? And it was always the same story. You know, one night the father went out to get cigarettes and never came back. To this day, I still don't smoke because of that. I thought, like, when I was a kid, I used to think if you smoked too many cigarettes, you would disappear. Anyway, when I was 24, I found out I was adopted, which means my real parents were smokers. One night, my real dad went out to get cigarettes, and my mom was like, hold on, I'm coming with you. It's weird, like, I found out I was adopted. I found out on an accident. I was adopted on an accident. I was on Facebook, and I was looking at a picture of me and my siblings, and me and my siblings, we're all black, but, you know, I know how, like, all people, like, think all black people look the same, but those people are, you know, racist. And so I'm looking at this picture, and then something in my head just clicked, like, you know, one of these things is not like the other. And so I just called my mom. Out of the blue. I was like, hey, Mom, was I adopted? And she was like, yup. And here's the thing. If you ever have a question that might potentially change your life, by all means ask, because it's your life and you need to know. Just don't ever lead with that question, because it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for that conversation to go. Hey, Mom, was I adopted? Yup. So other than that, how's Dad? You know? And she told me, she's like, listen, you were adopted, but that doesn't change anything. But it did. For starters, that means that all those Mother's Day gifts were participation trophies. You know? And my mom used to hit me. She used to hit me as a kid. My mama used to hit me as a kid, all right? And I don't want to give you guys the wrong impression. You know, she never used to knock me out or anything like that. She was always more of a points fighter. But she used to hit me as a kid. Like, she would hit me in my chest, and my chest would be like, hey, man, does she know that you're 7? And the thing is, now that I'm older, now that I'm more mature, now that I realize, you know, that I was adopted, I understand. People usually tend to get a lot rougher with things that aren't theirs. This is dope. It's dope being a comedian. It's so dope being a comedian, because my mom always thought I was going to be a pilot. She always thought I was going to be a pilot. Like, everywhere we went, she would tell people I was going to be a pilot, whether it was church, school, a third place. She'd even start the conversation with, hey, you got kids? Well, fuck your kid. My kid's going to be a pilot. She would buy me the posters with the planes on them, the pajamas with the planes on them. We never talked about flight school, but that's okay. So one day I had to sit my mama down. I had to tell my mama, I said, Mama, look, I love you. I really do. But I'm not going to be that pilot you always wanted me to be. In fact, I'm going to move to the city. I'm going to become a comedian. So now my mother tells people, my son lives in New York City, and he's a pilot.